Just a lot of moving pieces in the market this morning. Everything changing as I speak. So it could all change while I'm speaking, and everything that I'll say in the beginning won't be true by the time I report at the end, and then it'll all be different by the time you may be watching this. So very, very interesting morning so far in the market. The NASDAQ was up very strongly in the pre-market. The Dow was down strongly in the pre-market, but then the Dow has come back and the NASDAQ has faded, and Tesla was up strongly in the pre-market, but is now down. The Nvidia happiness might have already worn off as the durable goods orders come out, and possibly that's what's affecting everything. Anyway, this is Randy Kirk. You know what to do. Hit like, subscribe, notify. You want to be notified today. Guess you've already heard me say it. I got Jeff Lutz. Coming up around noon California time today. Not exactly sure what time I'll put it out, but usually around 11, between 11 and 12 California time. Hit notify so you can be notified. I've also got a really big show for you in the afternoon. You don't want to miss that one. I am going to make some predictions. Well, actually, Jeff Lutz and I make some predictions too. So we'll see what's up later today. All right. And then, of course, join Patreon, and buy the books. All right, let's go. All right. Very cool news that Tesla added new awards to their program. You know, where you when you give referrals, they put out some notices saying that one of the ways that you can use your referral premium stuff is by getting an invitation to the Cybertruck delivery event in Austin, Texas. Well, will it be in Austin, Texas? I guess it'll be in Austin, Texas. Anyway, here's what it says here. Tesla wrote an email. Cybertruck delivery event invite redemptions are first come, first served, and are valid for you and one friend. Space is limited. If you make your choice to claim, check back later. Additional tickets will be released as the event approaches. So we now know there will be an event. We all assumed there would be an event. There was no reason not to think that there would be an event, but this is the first confirmation that there will be an event. Nothing there says that it'll be in Austin, but we're guessing again that it will be in Austin. So cool that we know this also suggests that the event is getting very, very close, and all of us, of course, are expecting it to be the end of September. Does it really matter whether it's the end of September, the beginning of October? No. So we'll see what happens. But man, so much is going to happen in the next 60 days that it's kind of hard to get your arms around it. You realize the next 60 days will include probably the Cybertruck launch, probably the new Model 3 update. It will definitely almost include the earnings report in October. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things happening in the next 60 days. Well, all right, this morning, the Federal Reserve Chair Powell may be a Republican, but the top four candidates vying to become his party's standard bearer are promising to put him out of a job if they're elected president next year. So nobody likes Chairman Powell. It's rare that they love the chairman of the Federal Reserve, but right now, this guy is definitely not on anybody's list of favorite folks. He failed to move fast enough on inflation. Then he overshot, in everybody's opinion, on inflation, and doesn't get that he needs to lower interest rates by December at the latest. Doesn't get that nobody wants to break the economy over the last 1% of inflation. Anyway, he was initially nominated to his role by Donald Trump, but the then president proceeded to turn on him almost as fast as he was confirmed. Powell once served as an official in the H.W. Bush administration, but was nevertheless a lightning rod for the conservative wings of the GOP ever since. Now, as the 2024 field takes further shape, most of Trump's rivals have joined in attacks on Powell, to the point where the top four candidates have unequivocally said in recent days that they would look elsewhere when Powell's term expires in 2026. Well, speaking of the Republicans, they continue to be completely out of touch on energy. I watched some of the debates last night. I couldn't really watch it. It was too much of it wasn't a debate. It was just people shouting and screaming at each other. I was like, I can't watch this. They need to have, people need to get 3-4 minutes at least to talk about the subject before they get interrupted. It just doesn't work for me. But anyway, the Republicans are continuing to show that they're completely out of touch on the future of energy and the future of electric cars. It bothers me deeply because, of course, I am a conservative and I don't like to see them be so out of touch. Now, it is entirely positive that they're looking at their base and going, the Midwest doesn't get BEVs yet. They just aren't buying them yet. They don't get it. Their gas prices are not high enough to really push them hard into BEVs. They will be moving into BEVs. I think it's going to start happening as the price gets lower. We'll start to see this happening. But Republicans in general don't like to be forced to do anything. And so there's still this huge amount of forcing companies, forcing people to move into BEVs, forcing them to get into electric, forcing them to get into solar, forcing people to move, to get rid of their gas stoves, forcing people to change the way that they air condition their home. All of those things are really good things to do, but it's the forcing. So if the Democrats would figure out that Republicans don't like to be forced and that they want the market to do it and that the market is doing it, then maybe there could be some coming together here. So for instance, we got the virtual power plant in Texas announced. This is a great example. The debaters continue to talk about brownouts. I haven't heard anything about brownouts this summer, even with this massive heat dome, weird heat dome that's been over the entire Southwest all summer. I haven't heard anything about brownouts. Let me know in the comments below. Have there been brownouts? I haven't heard about them. Usually they're really big news. Maybe they're happening and I just haven't noticed. I haven't had any in California, I can tell you that. And I live in the desert. Well, almost the desert, Riverside. It's 100, it's going to be 100 again today. It's 104, 105. We don't even notice, but we haven't been having brownouts. So so the Democrats, on the other hand, are fighting oil independence. The Republicans say, look, we still need oil independence. We still need to not let the Saudis kick us around. So why can't people come together and recognize we're going to need oil for a very long time? If we don't do our own oil, we will be buying it from the Syrians, the Venezuelans, and every other horrible regime out there. Why is it okay to pollute our air with oil from Syria, but not from oil from our own ground? I'm very confused about that. So if the Democrats could get off of that hobby horse and the Republicans could go, okay, we get it, it's going to be an electric future, maybe there'd be some way that there's a combination that could take place there. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with the politics for the morning. Just a little worked up. Trueflation is down just a tad this morning, but it's staying in that same 2.67 range. So are we setting up for another run at Goldilocks? As I said yesterday, it'll matter what Powell says. It'll matter to the market a lot tomorrow. If Powell is remotely hawkish or remotely dovish, yes, the market will move. But the real key is not until next Thursday when we get the PCE numbers. I think it'll be game, set, match for the next leg of the bull if those numbers come in, as I mentioned, under 4% on core PCE. I think it will come in under 4%, and I think it'll be off to the races. I think we'll see the next leg of the bull take place if we get those numbers. On the other side of the coin, what does happen when we get that Goldilocks environment where the market, like it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, the market says, okay, inflation's done, so interest rates are coming down. We're all good with that. All that looks fine. What do they start paying attention to? They start paying attention to the foundational principles of the economy. How's the economy doing? Are we going to have a landing of some kind, a soft landing, a hard landing, a sort of landing, some kind of a recession that moves through the economy, which, we're getting that to a certain extent. Well, here you go. So the market might be responding to the facts that orders for longer lasting goods fell by the largest rate in more than 3 years in July, and more than expected. And so that indicates a substantial weakening in demand for manufactured goods. New orders for products meant to last at least 3 years, including appliances, computers, cars, and other manufacturers' goods, decreased 5.2% in July from a month earlier for a season. Well, okay, who cares? The seasonally adjusted 285.9 billion. Who knows what that number is? But that was the steepest The drop, the steepest by percentage since April 2020, snaps 4 straight months of rises in durable goods, including a revised increase of 4.4 in June. Economists had expected a 4.1 fall. They expected the fall. And they expected the fall because why? Because of these big increases the last few months. So this was going to be an adjustment month, but the fall is greater than expected. And most of it is happening in transportation, excluding defense categories. New orders tumbled 5.4, so it wasn't defense, but it was led by a 14% drop in orders of transportation equipment. Take out transportation equipment, new orders were up by 0.5%. New orders for non-defense capital goods, excluding aircraft, a closely watched proxy for business investment, rose 0.1%. So I've been saying business investment will be increasing. I believe that's where things are going. But this big transportation drop is why I think we've got Tesla falling this morning. Last time I checked, now it may not still be falling. Also, we got news that applications for U.S. unemployment benefits fell to the lowest level in 3 weeks, suggesting that the demand for workers is still healthy. So you see, we've got all this mixed up stuff going on. And so it's going to be a little hard to tell for a while which direction the economy is going. I think the economy is fine. Strong jobs, people spending money. You have the job. You've got your income. You're not worried about losing your job. So you're okay to spend. You've got money in the bank, 4 times as much as pre-pandemic. Businesses have money in their banks. They're in good shape generally. All of that suggests that the economy is not going to have a hard landing, but I'd like to see us get back to Goldilocks on a regular basis. Okay, let's take a look at what has happened in that 10 minutes since I started this program. Let's see here. We've got the the Dow is now up strongly, even in face of these durable goods orders numbers. The NASDAQ is up okay. Tesla continues to be down along with Apple and Amazon, but the other Magnificent Seven stocks are up. We've got the pretty much across the board, the Cathie Wood stocks are down. Now let's go look at the other stuff. We have got, here we go. We have got the crypto back down again, but not as low, well, 26.3, pretty low. We have got the dollar rising up again. We've got gold. It had gone down a lot, so it's bounced off those lows, but it's sitting at 1941 right now. Oil down good. Now this should be really, really good news. This should be helping the market. Dow is oil is now under 78 at 77.67. You got bonds, however, popping up a little, but still at 4.206. Yesterday or 2 days ago, they were at 4.33. So that's good. Let's take a look at the 2-year. So the 2-month and the 2-year both up a bit this morning, but the 10-year is also up. So all the bonds are up this morning. Yeah, so you see, it is a total mixed bag. Don't know what to tell you. Got to be careful out there this morning. It is all over the place. I don't see any trends. I don't see anything that we can jump on right now. Everybody's worried, of course, about what Powell's going to say tomorrow. I'm sure there's concern about this durable goods orders being down. Not sure, haven't been able to dig into it. Obviously, you have to see why those transportation numbers were down so much. Is it new cars that are down by that much? I don't think so. So I'll dig into more of that, and we'll talk about that more tomorrow morning. But in the meantime, you've got Jeff Lutz coming up later today, and then you've got my report later tonight, where I'm going to do some predicting. And I'm going to do some predicting that I think, will sound like Goldilocks, because, I am an optimist. And then be sure to hit like if you haven't already done that, hit subscribe and notify. And of course, Patreon would be great. I sure could use, we're nowhere close to our 125 goal. We're still sitting right around 110 folks. So if 15 of you could afford the $5 a month, that'd be great. All right, that's all I got for you right now. Look forward to seeing you later today. And it's been wonderful speaking to you this morning.